Hey everybody, it's Chris and Des Show. I'm Chris.
And I'm Des.
And we're going to talk today about the new Netflix musical, The Prom, based on the Broadway musical, The Prom.
My glasses are reflecting in the light and it's annoying me and I apologize.
Directed by Ryan Murphy and starring some unknown actors like Meryl Streep and Nicole Kidman and Andrew Rannells and James Corden. You probably never heard of any of those people. It also,
or you have.
And it also does star, oh shoot, I just started. Joe Ellen Pellman, who is fantastic, and Ariana DeBose, who was in Hamilton, and Tracy Ullman comes in as the aunt. We all love Tracy Ullman. Des is it's a really cool thing we have here. I have just seen the movie, and Des saw the original play musical on Broadway. And so we'll have two different insights. Des, what did you think?
Okay. First, there's just so much that I feel like I have to say. So this might take a minute. Let's go back to the play. And let's start there because that's the beginning of my experience with this story. I saw this musical on Broadway and I enjoyed it immensely. This is a show that the actress's name is Beth Level, and she plays the Meryl Streep part in the production. Beth Level spearheaded this show into existence because it's such a great part for her in the first place, and it's a great story that she believes in. And so this whole show happened on Broadway because Beth Level made it happen. This show it's about a has-been Broadway actress. And at the beginning of this movie, now I'm to the movie, the Netflix movie. Meryl Streep can play a lot of things. It wasn't until about halfway through this movie that I believed she was a has-been actress. At the beginning when they started it, I didn't. It was too much glitz and glamour and I didn't believe it didn't work for me until they get to the town and they're starting to relate, and then it all comes down, and now, oh my goodness, I'm in. Especially in that one scene where it's just her and James Corden, I was in 100%. But it took that long for me to get there. And in the stage production, I got there right away. I believed Beth Level was a has-been. I believed the guy who was playing the James Corden role. I forget his name, and I don't remember his name either. It's a shame. He was amazing in this show. All the people in the Broadway show, I bought in. Of course, I love Broadway. I love it. And when you're live in person, there's that aspect where, of course, you fall into the story much deeper live in person, I think. So, that being said, now back to this Netflix movie. I understand the struggle that people have with this particular production because I experienced it. Sure, absolutely. I like it. I like the story. I like the songs. I kind of like the message. I like what it's saying. It has part of this is the kind of story where the people who are like, that is so unrealistic. Musicals are just kind of crazy. People just break into song. That's not real. This is the kind of movie that it just does that. And I understand why they can't relate to this. Keegan-Michael Key in this movie explains my love for theater in the best way it has ever been explained in all of ever. His character in this movie is, I could not relate to it more, of how much I love theater and how it makes me feel and how the community of it and that character and that song are worth the whole movie to me. And that scene in the middle with James and Meryl Streep when they are being real. I could relate to that. And the Nicole Kidman and the Zaz, loved it. Loved it. The whole thing. I loved those individual moments. There's probably 6 or 7 individual moments in this movie that I loved. The movie as a whole, it's harder to get behind as those individual moments. It's really easy to get behind those individual moments for me. The whole movie, I could say on the whole that I kind of liked it, but it's hard to. I would understand you not relating to this movie and not enjoying it. I would understand that a lot. I kind of liked it, but I do bring way more stuff to it than the regular person. What did you think?
Well, okay, you know what? That's so good that you said that, because I have not seen. I knew about the Prom and what it was about, but I had not seen it on Broadway, and so I had a different experience with the Meryl character specifically. So at the beginning, when they're
on Broadway,
they're on Broadway,
in New
and
York.
everyone's like flash and lights, and they're all great, and then like their show like closes right away. It's not a spoiler; it happens right at the beginning.
Yeah, it's right at the beginning.
And that's the premise for this whole thing taking place.
Yeah.
I didn't have that sense of like, oh, she's supposed to be this has been already. I feel like, oh, she's star in this Broadway show, and now she's not anymore. And so I think the movie paints it that way. She's a star, now she's not.
Yeah.
Okay, when they go sit at the bar after that big song with Andrew Reynolds.
See, that part is not in the play. There's a bunch of scenes where it's a movie, so they have to do things a little bit differently than they do in a play. In a play, you buy it right away and you say the thing and you move on to the next thing. Right. And it's not how it is in a movie.
And I will say too, like, I am 100% biased about some of these people. So I could watch Meryl Streep in almost any movie and love her so much. And I love her especially in musicals because she can sing, but she has this energy which you need for musicals that not everyone has. And what Des is talking about, like on stage and stuff too, stage actors don't transition well to movies usually because they're too much for movies often. And so they come across that way. Like a lot of movie actors don't transition to the stage well because they're not enough to hold the audience captive. Yeah. Meryl has that though in both areas. It's very rare, obviously, and she's phenomenal. And so in the movie, she has an energy where I think my problem, and I'm totally biased against James Corden too, because as of late, I've been having some issues with James Corden. But he kind of falls much flatter than I would have. I thought his character was going to be like over the top big, which I think in the play he is more so.
He is, yeah.
That would add an energy to it. He is not adding energy to this situation. Now, Andrew Reynolds is phenomenal, and he has a few like really great songs. I feel like his character actually is the most consistently like, this is good. That man can sing.
That's the same in, I would say his was the most the same for between the stage and the movie.
I can see that.
Yeah. And the Nicole Kidman.
He's a beautiful singer, first of all, Andrew Reynolds is. And he's a very talented actor. And I loved his part. I loved the whole like love thy neighbor in the mall, and he's dancing around, and he's fantastic. I loved Meryl's song when they first get to the town and she's like, it's not about me, but the whole thing's about her, obviously. And that she plays that kind of part like Meryl, right? Des is right that the emotional heart, if you think it would be Jo Ellen Pellman's character, because she is, first of all, she can sing. She's so good, that Jo Ellen. She is fantastic. I love her. And Ariana DeBose, too, I thought was really great as her girlfriend as well, too. But Keegan-Michael Key is the emotional like heart of that movie.
I loved him so much.
Good.
He was better than the guy in the movie on stage.
Oh wow!
That role, they expanded that role. He must have been like, okay, this isn't enough. We gotta juice this up. This has to be bigger. Well, especially if you're gonna play against Meryl Streep, he actually has to, you know. On the stage play, it just was a side thing that happened. But this, oh my God.
That was much smarter for this movie because it made you care a lot more.
Yeah.
Because you don't really, like, there's this whole side thing about James Corden and his family and stuff, but that feels like...
It was a little unrelatable.
Yeah, what? Yeah. What is this about? What are you talking about? Because it's supposed to mirror the main story with the
Yeah,
girl,
yeah.
but it doesn't. And his whole song about like, I'm going to the prom and I'm in my 40s or whatever. I'm like, I who can buy into musicals like nobody's business, right? Like we're saying, to me, I'm like, we didn't really need that part per se. Now, I will say that this is written by Bob Martin, who's one of my favorite Broadway writers. He also wrote an amazing show called The Drowsy Chaperone, which Des and I love. And so he's a great comedy writer, and there's some good comedy in there. And I will say Meryl and Keegan play together so beautifully. Keegan is amazing. And I would say I was surprised at the lack of time that Nicole Kidman gets in it, because she's Nicole Kidman.
Yeah,
right?
No, I get it.
And
that's that role.
Yeah, it's a small. I'm surprised
it's
she
a
took
small
it.
role. Yeah,
I'm glad she did. I love her.
For sure.
She's so talented.
Well, that she gets that big number in the middle, and that's worth it all.
And she looks like a Fosse dancer, like her body type for sure.
Yeah.
So when she does the whole thing, Kerry Washington's fine too. She's good, and then she also borders that line for me of like, I like her on stage actually more than I do in film, because she is always a little too much for me on film. Yeah. But I've seen her on stage a few times in Broadway, and she's good in that setting.
I didn't mention her, but I believed her in this role. I really liked it.
She was a little. She's always just a little too. I don't know, just a tiny bit.
I get it.
Reining it in a second. Even though Meryl is also, but I don't know what it is. There's something different about it. And so I love Tracy Ullman coming in at the end. She's so fantastic in everything.
Tracy Ullman swoops in and just pulled my heartstrings out of my body. Oh.
If you like musicals, if you especially like musicals that star people like Andrew Rannells, you will like this musical. If you don't like musicals, don't watch this, because it's not going to win you over to musicals. No,
to musicals.
I liked it though. It's super glossy, bright colors, purples and blues and pinks and that kind of stuff, and it's over the top in almost every area. And I liked it.
Yeah.
Because I knew that going in, and I know myself, and I have to tell myself low expectations going into movies, because if I have too high expectations, then I am usually disappointed in them. Yeah. So I tell myself like, okay.
Yeah, you handled that right. About this movie.
I heard some bad reviews, so maybe it's not going to be that good. Then I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I would. See, I will say, I don't see it. People were talking about it for Oscar stuff. I cannot see it. Golden Globes, probably. They do their whole musical comedy section, and they're gonna probably Meryl. That's it.
What else do you
What else do you say about it?
She really does, like, they get to that scene when they really are talking about his family and all this stuff, and she is just amazing.
I love when they first get to the town, and he's like, we don't have a suite, and then she pulls out one of her Tonys, like, do you have a suite now? Like, no, we don't.
That's Bob Martin right there.
We don't have any suites. It's like, and now a second Tony's like, we still don't have any suites. I don't know anything about it right now. As if in Indiana, right? Is that where they're?
Yeah.
As if in Indiana, Tonys were gonna matter to this guy who is the bellhop at the.
Yeah.
He's like,
at Howard Johnson.
Man, I can't help you out here. Yeah. So there's some comedy stuff, some good songs. I'd say, especially from Andrew Rannells and Nicole Kidman, they have some good. They're good.
It's true.
And Jo Ellen Pellman, who is fantastic. I think her voice is beautiful.
Yeah, no, she's really
Let's see her more musical stuff, I say.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So that's what we thought. Let us know what you thought. If you liked The Prom, if you didn't. If you saw both like Des, what you thought. If you just saw the movie, let us know. Okay. Bye.
Bye.